Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts. With that being said, let's get it. All right, so you guys can see the Bitcoin is pushing against 99,000 right now. I'm pretty confident that once it firmly gets past 100K, that the entire crypto market's going to go absolutely ballistic. Now, I did think that today that the markets were going to rip higher, but unfortunately that did not play out. So I am noticing I was wrong in that situation. Um, but I noticed something weird happening here. So Mara went up, but the rest of the miners got tanked on. We did still buy some more CLSK, some Coney, and also some native crypto. Sold out of one position, got rid of Crow. We were going to wait to at least double our money on that one, but we were like, hell with it. Might as well just get out of it because it's not really a large position. We want to be a little bit more hyper concentrated when altcoin season happens. Okay, so um, it's possible when Bitcoin hits 100K, it could get a rejection off of that level. We'll just have to wait and see how that one plays out. But here's what I wanted to show you guys. So this has been really annoying. Okay, this is part of the reason why we have not seen the pumps that we want to see. Okay, so we've been seeing this thing most days in the markets where it'll pump into the open, and then for whatever reason, I have no effing idea why. Okay, the market will just fall off a cliff immediately after the open. You'll just get this ridiculous selling pressure, and then it'll go back up into the close. And yeah, we've been seeing that for a while now. So, and it's a little annoying. Not gonna lie, it is a little annoying. You can see it here again. Yesterday, dumped, and then went up, dumped again, and then went up into the close, or I guess in this case, yeah, into the close, and then kind of chopped around a little bit. Eventually went back up, and not quite the same thing here, but you guys can see right before the open dumped and then it went up. So we're kind of just, it's kind of just sideways at this point. Once again, not quite exactly like what we've seen lately, but kind of a dump into the open and then a pop after that. Then, of course, you have this ridiculous thing right here. Okay, another big, huge dump and then a slight recovery back into the close. So we've been seeing this forever at this point for like a couple of weeks. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe retail is like paper handsing out of their positions before or right at market open, because they're like, oh, well, it's a profit. Let me sell. Or maybe Wall Street's playing some funny business at this point. I'm not really sure. But it's still kind of chopping sideways. You can see we got the golden cross on the 4-hour time frame. So we should be going up at some point here. When exactly that's going to happen, I don't know. But yeah, the markets have been really weird as of lately, and I'm not really liking it. I want to see us start to move higher sooner rather than later because, again, it's just kind of stupid at this point that people are panic selling, paper handsing other positions in the middle of bullish seasonality. It just doesn't even make sense to me. Do I think we're going to get a redux of 2021? I don't know if you guys are aware, but the markets did top out right at the end of the year 2021. No, I don't think this is that situation. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't see that as being a plausible scenario right here. I really highly doubt that's going to happen. It looks sketchy, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so the grayscale trusts. Part of the reason we may not have seen the lift on these yet is because either A, Wall Street's not ready to pump their bags yet. They still want to accumulate, which is often the case with the smart money and the whales. They usually like to keep these prices in these ranges until eventually they're ready for them to break out. Because they understand that retail has zero interest in buying them when they're dirt cheap. That's part of the reason why we go over what we go over here. Again, I'm not trying to get you guys to FOMO in at the top. These are more ideal prices down here at support zones, right? But that's just kind of how the game is played. Wall Street, they'll kind of screw with people and try to get them to sell their bags, shake them out of their bags, and then pick up their shares on the cheap, and then boom, take off. And then, of course, like I'll show you guys another example of the opposite of what Wall Street would do on the bottom. This is what they do at the top, okay? They'll load their bags in down here, like in this big fat flag right here. You guys can see we were talking about this forever with Bitcoin, that it was going nowhere, but eventually it was probably going to break to the upside. Well, it did just that, and I'm pretty confident Wall Street was loading back in here in this flag, and then eventually, when you get this Burj Khalifa pattern that just looks absolutely ridiculous, it's pretty much a straight line up. That's when Wall Street probably went ahead and set the trap and decided, okay, yeah, let's take some profit, and then you have this heinous dump, and it's probably some sorry sucker out there that bought exactly at the top. No disrespect, but I mean, been in this game for a while, so I'm pretty familiar with how it works. All right, so LTCN, a lot of chop going on here. Still haven't got a confirmed close above the EMAs yet. Still within the channel, so I'd say anywhere in the channel is a good buy zone. So about 13, yeah, about 12, 15, 13, somewhere there up to 1750. So 25 to 54 is going to be the swing high up here. So nice big move, 315% gain. BCHG. I do think that the Bitcoin miners will have their day in the sun, and the Grayscale Trust is just a matter of what is it going to take? What catalyst are we going to get to send it there? That it could be anything. Okay. Usually when something in the markets pops off massively, it's because of a catalyst or because of sentiment. So, I mean, it could be Trump forcing the Fed to cut rates to zero. It could be Trump's inauguration in January 2020. It could be Trump actually getting a bill passed, or Congress actually getting a bill passed that approves the national Bitcoin stockpile. It could be Gary Gensler resigning. It could be it could be Trump announcing his secretary treasurer and SEC chair. Again, it's hard to say exactly what the catalyst would be, but probably, if I had to guess, I would say it's going to be a catalyst that's going to send these things to the moon. Exactly what it is, I don't know. But I'll just keep a lookout for you guys, and if I think I have spotted the catalyst, what the likely catalyst is going to be, I will let you know. All right. So BCHG kind of bobbing around the EMAs here, just to be on the safe side. I'd say maybe the buy zone's anywhere between 615 to about 760. So the white line to the EMAs, and then targets 1015 all the way up to 24. I mean, 283%. I mean, nobody really likes it when these things kind of sit at the bottom and go sideways. But again, you guys got to understand, like these sitting in these zones right here. I mean, it's a long time. I'll give you that. Okay, it's a long time to sit in these zones and go nowhere. But compared to a bear market in crypto, it's nothing. Okay. I mean, a lot of the altcoins that we were sitting on before we sold in profit back earlier in the year, we had sat on for nearly 2 years. Okay, so sitting on a position for just a couple of months, not really that big of a deal. But if you guys are new to this space, I would completely understand why you're pissed off about it. I would be too if I was new to this space. Okay, so 315 to 410 as support here for HZEN, 7 to 10.5 as the highs. Nice big fat 200% gain here. ETCG is showing some life. So, I mean, the fact that this one's going up and Ethereum dominance hasn't even taken over yet, Bitcoin dominance basically is running the space still. Yeah, you guys can see it right here. It's still a 60. So the fact that ETCG is even going up, and Ethereum is going up as well, but it's not breaking all-time highs, if you know what I mean. So the fact that this thing is even going up and starting to moon like this tells me that likely at some point the rest of these are probably going to do it too, because that would be kind of weird if just ETCG went to the moon but nothing else went to the moon. That wouldn't really make any sense. Okay, so buy zones here. I'd say probably as low as the top of the support zone, so right around the EMAs, so 10 to 1050, somewhere in there, as a potential pullback area. So 1330 to 20 for the targets. And again, I may or may not pull back there. You guys can see the reason why we've been piling so heavily into CLSK. So 103%. ETH, same thing. So this thing is moving up, although not as aggressively, but it is starting to move up. So I'd say 23 to 28.30, anywhere in there could be a buy area. Target would be the cup and handle, 53.30, or just call it 53.54, somewhere in there. Roughly about 130% gain on this one. GBAT. So once again, W pattern, potential double bottom going on here. They're both bullish, no matter how you want to look at it. We just got to get above the EMAs and above the zone. Once we do those, boom, should be clear skies after that, at least until 18. But it depends on how aggressive these move up. I mean, it could just snap this structure level right here like it didn't even exist. That does happen in crypto too. So support here, roughly about 440 to I'd say about 520. Targets are going to be $7 or $8 to about $32 on this one. So 620% gain here. FILG, FILG, or FILG, whatever you want to call it. Same thing as GBAT, W pattern, double bottom. It's all the same. So buy zone here, 34 to 42. Again, we got to get above the EMAs. That would be the first sign we would look for an actual breakout occurring. $400 is the all-time high. About 1,100% gain. GLIV still kind of chilling around that level, not moving up yet. So I'd still say somewhere between 670 to about 1180 would be a good buy area. And again, we got to get above the zone of the EMAs. So just understand that is technical analysis. Okay, if it's below the EMAs and the zone, a flip zone, especially like this, support turned into resistance at this point, that is bearish, but it could change on a dime. Okay, it could easily flip and the price could go above these zones and then start rocketing to the moon. So $80 is the target on this one for the all-time high. Maximum move here, if that was the road you chose to take, would be 1,040%. G-Link, so this one is trying to push above the EMAs, also get above the zone here. The fact that we had a wick above this zone is a good sign in my opinion. That means that that's probably where the price is going to go. But since it's not fully confirmed yet, I would say probably, I'd say somewhere around the bottom of the EMAs here. So right around $55 could be a potential good area to, buy some if you're looking for it. Okay, so targets 85 to roughly about 220 here. Maximum move would be about 308% gain. GSOL. So yeah, it can have a V-shaped recovery here, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to play out immediately. Sometimes it does. I mean, it could just go big fat red candle, one big fat green candle, and it immediately recovers all of its losses. There's a term that market participants use that I think you guys should understand, and that is that when the price of an asset goes up, it takes the stairs on the way up, and when it goes down, it takes the elevator on the way down. Okay, meaning that these things have to stair step up, like you see here, stair step up, right? But usually when you get a big fat sell capitulation, it is very aggressive and very fast, whereas it takes time to recover the price back up. So just understand we could be seeing the stair step pattern play out right now. Okay, so as of right now, I would still say, because we got this green candle above this zone here, I'd still say that somewhere in this 160 to 210 would be a good buy area. Targets as high as 580. About 235% gain. GXLM literally went nowhere. So same as before, maybe a pullback into kind of that 28 area would be a buy area to kind of fill that gap. So targets here 5260 to 70. I mean, yeah, the price the price appreciation on the day was literally 0%. Yeah, it's pretty much had the return that the Nasdaq had today. It did absolutely nothing. It went down and then it went back up, pretty much to the same price it opened at. Kind of ridiculous, right? All right, so 160% gain here. Mana. A couple of rejection candles off of the EMAs here. That's not a surprise. It usually does happen before a breakout. Whether it goes down or goes up remains to be seen, but the MACD and the RSI are looking pretty bullish right now. So I would say, we got this higher wick here on this red candle. That could be an early sign that the price does actually want to move up at some point. So buy zone right now is going to be roughly about 1040. You could even buy as high as 1540 at those EMAs before it eventually pops out of there. So 20 to roughly about 70 for targets here. 620% move. Zcash, same thing as before, just going sideways. So 3.25 to about 6 is going to be the buy zone, and then 8 to about 10.25 will be the targets up at the top. About a 205% gain. So I'm going to show you guys, and you're probably going to be like, oh, what the hell? You don't have the Grayscale Trust. Actually, we do. We have a couple of them, but we sold most of our positions earlier in the year. We do still have crypto. We just don't have a lot of the Grayscale Trust right now. But you guys can see basically pretty much CLSK is going sideways at this point. But we're buying because, again, you got to understand, what is it we're seeing right here? Okay, I think I've told you guys this a zillion times, right? It's a massive accumulation block, right? All of this, and again, it's kind of broad. I mean, it goes anywhere from $7 to $25 accumulation, right? We saw something very similar back here, and it came off support zones and levels, and what happened? Boom, the price exploded up. So I kind of expect something very similar is happening here. The only kicker I would say is that this thing needs to get above 15, because there's kind of like a lot of candle bottoms that you guys can see. There's a candle top here, candle bottoms here. It needs to get cleanly with a nice big fat green candle above 15, and then eventually get another big fat green candle kind of above that 18-ish to about 20.50, somewhere in there, and then boom, we should break out and get past this red zone here. But I see this as one big massive accumulation zone, okay? Especially with the EMAs pointed up now, all the indicators are golden or bullish in this case. Inverse head and shoulders breakout. Gap got filled on the daily. Trend lines holding here. It doesn't look great that there was a pullback, but again, it's mostly just going sideways. Usually when something goes sideways in a bull trend or at the bottom, that's usually a good time to accumulate. Whereas if you see something like the inverse, and I'm going to close that out after this because I want to show you guys the inverse of this. This is known as accumulation. Okay, so when something's at the bottom and it's not going anywhere, like Filecoin, for example, or CLSK, that's known as accumulation right here. Okay, and I'll literally show you guys on the charts here. And again, not every time has the move been absolutely meteoric, but you can see a massive accumulation here at the bottom going sideways. Boom, took off like a rocket, went sideways, had a nice little pop here, going sideways again. Should theoretically see a pop eventually, right? But if I go back to Bitcoin's history in the past, what did we see in 2021? We went sideways, and this would be the opposite case here. We went sideways at the top of a move. If we see something like this where it's trying to go up and it's kind of just chopping around, you see kind of like almost like a rolling top pattern or a rounding top pattern, that might be a good indication that this is distribution and it's getting ready to sell off, okay? In this case, it was going sideways, okay? There's a difference between that and it going down and sideways. This is a bullish pattern. This back here, not a bullish pattern, okay? All right, so I hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.